Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Reviews, and Game of Thrones is back. Season 8, Episode 1, Winterfell, hit us tonight like a ton of bricks at 1 hour and 6 minutes if you watch all the post-credit stuff, which you really should, because it gives you a lot of valuable insight into the episode. It gives you a lot of interesting information about what they were trying to do with it. But overall, this episode was, well, for lack of a better term, this episode was very much just setting things up, right? Just setting things up. The way I view this episode, Winterfell, is just, it's like going back to the beginning. A lot of it is the opening shots of the episode with the procession coming into Winterfell, led by Daenerys and Jon Snow, feeling very similar to Robert Baratheon and Cersei from episode 1. With the episode's end with Jaime and Bran, there's a lot there that this episode did that very much harkens back to the original, letting us know that it's aware of its origins and it's playing with those origins a little bit, and it's going to be giving us, I think, a lot there. There was a lot of argument in the last season about it being fan fiction, about it just being far too quick paced, which I don't disagree with, to be honest with you. And this episode was not running at breakneck speed, but there was a lot that went on. And I'm just going to kind of touch upon some of the highlights, because there really wasn't much in regards to moving the story. It was just establishing where all the characters are. Jon and Daenerys are in love. Sansa kind of knows about it. She can figure it out. Other people can kind of figure it out. Obviously, Bran and Sam, they know, and they got to talk about that at some point. The Jon now completely understands that he's a Targaryen, and then he might have a better understanding about why the dragons let him fly them in a scene that could really only be described as blowing the entire special effects budget already in the first episode of the final season. Arya is still doing Arya things. Glad to see Gendry. I think deep down, glad to see the Hound. The Hound is still a massive asshole, and there's definitely all that stuff. But her and Gendry kind of getting along a little bit. Sansa is very distrusting of Daenerys, only because Jon Snow bent the knee. In fact, a lot of people in Winterfell, a lot of the Northerners, are very mad at Jon because they crowned him their king, and he gave it away. He comes out and he says, look, I came out here to do this in order to protect all of you. I wanted to protect all of you, which, from Jon's perspective, it entirely makes sense. He has seen the White Walkers. He knows what they can do. He knows what's coming, and he needed to protect his people. And that meant forming an alliance with someone that he is ultimately in love with, and he will probably end up marrying. I'm still thinking that's going to happen, but that's where things are at. And the distrustfulness of the Northerners, I get, but I don't know if that storyline is gonna keep going. I really hope it doesn't keep going. I hope it kind of it just kind of simmers out and they trust Dany. But I think at the same time, they're also fearful because the dragons. There's a great line in there about Sansa, at this point, she's Lady Winterfell, and she says, I wasn't prepared for 5,000 Unsullied and the Dothraki and 2 dragons. I mean, what do dragons even eat anyway? And Daenerys just looks at her and says, whatever they want. Kind of like a screw you, B, sort of thing. And that was a great line. I really enjoyed that. But there's a lot of character interactions here, a lot of reintroducing us to characters. Really, when it comes to the plot, Bran and Sam basically realize that they got to tell Jon, and Bran tells Sam, listen, he trusts you the most. You got to tell Jon that he's currently the rightful heir to the throne. He's also having sex with his aunt, but you can take care of that in your own way. He trusts you. And when Sam tells him, he uses 2 pieces of information, which work out pretty well. He admits he found a diary at the Citadel that acknowledges this, and then Bran is, well, whatever Bran has, which I thought was a good little line. But Sam, I felt really bad for, because he learned about the death of his brother and his father at the hands of Daenerys, who tells him that she executed his family. And he was very upset, but at the same time, he wasn't wanting to plot revenge against Daenerys. He don't like his family. So I'm wondering if ultimately he's going to become a lord, and then he's going to take over the Torley house and become someone of importance. But I think also he's going to take over the Citadel, because basically Daenerys was like, hey, listen, when I take over King's Landing, I'm going to need someone to run the Citadel. You, my boy, B. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But Jorah, she owes him a favor, and I think that's going to come up later on. Cersei had interesting storyline with Euron. The fact that she despises this man, but she needs him for his ships in order to get the Golden Company, the men that she purchased, the mercenaries she purchased with Marjorie Tyrell's stolen fortune. After they did that whole thing from the last season, and but she didn't get her relevance, so she's not very happy with that one. And there's Bronn. Okay, but the thing with the storyline for Cersei and Euron is that Euron wants to put a baby in her, but Cersei could also already be pregnant. It could be Jaime's child because they did have sex in season 7, and it could be his. But at the same time, the transition it took from Jaime to go from from King's Landing to Winterfell took it took a fair amount of time because he left clean shaven. He got there with the full beard. So if it took like multiple weeks, Cersei would be showing, and if she knows she's pregnant, she's not going to be drinking wine. So I don't think she's pregnant. I think she just knows about the prophecy, and the prophecy is something that's really going to mess with her, and that's totally going to end up doing its thing. But when it comes to Bronn's story is what's going to be propelling it forward, because Bronn has now been tasked by Cersei with killing Tyrion and Jaime with a crossbow because it's poetic. And whether or not he does it is going to serve as his own internal conflict, as well as setting him up for either a grand finale or just a moment where he kind of says, screw you, Cersei, I'm hanging with my boys, and now we're going to go fight some White Walkers, and then he's going to end up getting what he wants in the end. And I hope they don't kill off Bronn, but that's where that was. And really, yeah, there wasn't a great deal that happened in the episode. I'm trying to think if those are the primary plot points. It is setting things up for what's going to be coming in the future, predominantly because the White Walkers are now making their way towards Winterfell. The White Walkers are making their way there. Tormund and the dude with the flaming sword and some of the other Night's Watch, they ran into each other at one keep that had been decimated by White Walkers, and the young boy who was in charge, they had him pinned to a wall with a sundial or sun logo, basically, or icon symbol, but made out of human legs. And then the boy was turned into a White Walker. They lit him on fire, and it literally lit the entire spindle. And it was creepy, hauntingly creepy that they burned a kid in the episode. So there was a lot there with that. That's setting up the fact there that the White Walkers are making their way towards Winterfell, and that Tormund, they've got to get there and warn them. And so the next episode is going to be a big battle, I think, considering the fact that you've got the White Walkers are on their way, the Dothraki, the 5,000 Unsullied, the dragons. It's going to be a big wild show. This was just a setup. This was just reintroducing us to the world, reintroducing us to the characters. Everyone got a little bit of lines. Not everyone got a lot, but everyone got a little bit of lines. And we clearly have set up some storylines for the future, like with Arya and Gendry, Arya and the Hound, Cersei and Euron, Theon wanting to go and be in the fight to protect his family, his friends, Yara going back to the Iron Isles in order to keep it, I guess, safe, or keep her safe, really. And I don't really blame her, to be honest with you, after what happened with Euron and attacking the ships from last season. So I feel we're heading into the end game. This was just the tip of the iceberg, but I want to know your thoughts. What did you think of the episode? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it at a good pace, a bad pace? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see a full breakdown of the episode, character by character breakdown, you can do so over on 3 Theater. Link for that will be in the video. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. And dun 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 dun. I'm very upset that we only have 5 more episodes to hear that magnificent opening. I mean, not like I can't buy it on Blu-ray, but still, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.